What's up, everybody? Shawn here with another Live to Roll. Gonna be hanging out with you guys today, kind of just doing a little bit of an open discussion, but mainly on bowel management. So, any questions you guys have about bowel care, or if you have any other questions or anything, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll do our best to get to them as well. But mainly gonna be talking a little shit today. So, hanging out with Tom today. Um, Bobby not feeling great today as well. All of us have kind of been having some health issues this last month, just kind of, with being flu season and all. So make sure send everybody your love, making sure everybody don't get anybody sick if you are sick out there.
Wear your masks. Be mindful
Wear a
when you
mask.
go out. It's not a joke. Like the respiratory stuff that's going around could certainly put your quad friends in a precarious situation if they happen to catch it. And everybody, honestly, is at risk of ending up in a precarious situation with a lot of the respiratory illnesses going around these days. So wash your hands. Wear your masks, people.
Wash your hands, I think, is the most important too for most people. And I know if you're in a wheelchair, that is like one of the hard, like, especially if you're in a public restroom, you're gonna wash your hands and have to push your chair. So in a power chair, you do have a slight advantage, Tom. At least you don't have to touch wheels, touching the floor there, leaving a bathroom. But it's
Yeah.
still, you're still getting it all over your wheels and tracking it wherever you go, back into your house and all that shit. All that stuff is nasty. uh, but
Um, Definitely. I feel for you guys that you gotta touch your wheels every time in between your catheter and get somewhere and stuff. Ugh.
Because
Um,
I know a lot of people that won't even go into the public bathrooms. They just either cath or empty their bag like in a corner somewhere outside. Find somewhere in a bush to empty the bag. Do something that's not rolling through public restrooms. But yeah, Ken mentioned. What's
I
up?
just see this one at Rite Aid. Like I went to get some groceries this morning, and I went to Rite Aid, and I had a cath, and I go to the bathroom, and that's the first thing I thought about is leaving. Like I had to put my hand on the handle to open the door, but I had just washed
That you still
my
have to
hands,
hit.
and I was like, "Shit!" Like I just ruined like my germ-free zone. But
That's yeah. So that is right. Yeah, you still are gonna have to hit the handle, and everybody who like even if you're not touching the floor directly, I guarantee at least 50% of the people that left that bathroom did not wash their hands. I would say closer to like 80%. But
okay, let's not talk about that, bro. Just kidding.
but
Mike, what's up, Hannah? What's up, Rob? Hi, Leon. Hey, Ken. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.
yeah,
Did
thanks
we do
for
our intros? I think I just started talking without
yeah.
doing
No,
our
actually,
intro.
I guess I kind of didn't do a full intro either. But yeah, I'm C5 C6 quad from a snowboarding accident 21 years ago, or 20 years ago. 21 coming up at the end of the month. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Um, Tom Conaway, C6B, quadriplegic. I'm sorry I've been MIA the last couple weeks, but I was taking the holidays off. Shiny Boy decided to give me a couple weeks off for the holidays. And I'm back, baby. So happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone's bringing in 2025 in a positive and healthy way. And yeah, I should be back. I should be back every week, hopefully, barring any major procedures or illnesses. But I'm going to do my best to avoid all that stuff.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
certainly,
And
definitely.
now we're talking shit. I love talking shit. It's one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, and that's what Ken in the chat also mentioned. It's been one of his favorite topics lately. So if you have any questions or anything you want to mention, talk about, please drop them in the chat. We can both we have done it before, kind of mention like how we do care. Me and Tom each do it. And then unfortunately, Bobby's not here, but he does have the colostomies. Um, but we still have some colostomy knowledge, and I feel like some of the ostomy knowledge. And if you have any basic questions, maybe point you in the right direction at least, or get you to message Bobby. But yeah, we were talking about the Paristine a few weeks ago. I had Chad on hanging out. He just actually started it, and he's even texted me and thanked me like it's basically changed his life in this last month because the last few times we had talked, he was extremely constipated, basically just relying on digital stimulation to evacuate every time. Like just basically having his nurse just pulse whatever they could out of his butt, like. But it was not working well for like years now. And yeah, he started the Paristine, and he's been pooping good. So
It's a common thing that can happen for not just people with disabilities and paralysis, but other people too. But more commonly for us, it's called dysmotility, and it's where your bowels are very slow to operate and happen, meaning like you are prone to constipation, like the natural peristalsis that moves the shit through your bowels. It doesn't always operate the same the older you get, and especially depending on your physiological system, meaning your body. Um, Paralysis can have an effect on that. If you're just not up walking and moving, and your body's not moving like it's generally intended to, it can slow things down. And yeah, constipation is very dangerous, very unhealthy for you, and can be extremely discomforting. I'd argue probably one of the more discomforting things that we can experience is kind of like a general symptom, which is constipation. Meaning it can just make you feel bloated and painful and like full and like gross, and can make eating hard. It can make going out hard. It can make everything hard.
It does. And, yeah, and if you all including your stool, your shit is hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
So and it's hard to come out. And then like Ken mentioned in the chat right there, the more you eat, the more you crap. So I've actually been like talking, Leah and I have been talking about stuff because like I've actually started probably eating more a little bit now because just like I just like the food I've been eating a lot lately, a lot of what she cooks and stuff. But sometimes I've had major like GI bloating gas stuff this year. Like some days I'm fine, and some days it literally I will be physically sweating and getting like the blotches on my skin from like how strong my AD is from gas and bloating. Like
Is it particular foods that you're eating that
so
are
that's what
causing?
I'm trying to figure that out too. I think there is a few things I know that have caused like definitely more of the bloating and gas. So that's what I'm trying to figure out now. Like I'm actually trying to like keep a little bit more of a record of what I'm eating, how it affects me, and the calories and things in them, so that sometimes I can maybe do more like calorie dense food and eat less actual like bulk of the food. So
Um, you keep a food diary.
I'm trying to start. I'm trying. I haven't. I've never done that honestly in my life. Like, but I know a lot, I know it's like a really healthy, good thing to do. So I'm starting.
It can be a really easy, simple thing to do. I mean, if you're just writing down your 3 meals a day in your phone or something, like every time you eat, you're like, I'm having this. It's like a couple words takes 30 seconds to do, and I would highly encourage anybody who's trying to track how their body reacts to certain foods, or maybe try to like weed out certain foods that might be triggering for them or cause them regular bowel issues. Food diary is paramount to success, because you're not going to remember what you're eating and the foods that are troubling you if you don't mark the date and what you're eating. I can promise you that. And I think we haven't done a nutrition episode in a while. We should. We
We
talked
should
about it before.
actually.
But the what you put in your body is really important and can have a monstrous effect on how your body feels. And sometimes just avoiding certain foods, or you know whatever, can be really helpful. Just cutting out certain things or adding certain things that maybe you weren't eating before, that balance your system a little bit better and make digestion easier. But yeah, something that we all struggle with, and I think especially quads, we deal with maybe the discomfort related to like bloating and constipation a little bit more, because it translates to AD for us. It's like discomfort below our level of injury, and our body doesn't know how to process that discomfort, and it can oftentimes result in dysreflexia. And especially if you're having a combination of issues, so let's say you're dealing with a UTI, or you're dealing with like something else that's causing you pain and discomfort, and then you eat a bunch of unhealthy stuff and you're bloated and constipated, the combination of all these forces can be not so great and can put you in a pretty tough situation. So that's great to hear that Chad was having some success with the Parastine. If anybody isn't familiar with that, Shawn can certainly give you the breakdown. But we're talking bowel irrigation system here. It's similar to an enema, but it's kind of like a more intense enema. and it just basically, it's a higher volume of water, and it goes further up into your bowels to better clean you out, avoid accidents and stuff, and to avoid things like constipation. But the technical term, the way they describe it medically, it's a bowel irrigation system.
Yeah, well, actually, I just saw too because I actually that's one other thing that I just got that through insurance. So like I've been using it for almost 4 years now, but buying them or getting them donated through people like that had their old systems. But the old pumps wore out, and I really needed to get one, so I had to buy a new one, and then finally got them through insurance. But they actually call it a transanal irrigation system is like the like code term for Medicare. Like that's how, whatever. So if you're looking to try to get, or Medi-Cal actually, Medicare won't approve right now, but I think they're coming hopefully soon. They said, uh, but uh, but yeah. So that's it. Exactly what Tom said. It's like a large volume enema, and the way it helps also like work a little better for someone like me that can't exactly control my sphincter and like keep the water in there. The catheter that goes, like the rectal catheter that goes in, has a balloon like a urinary catheter. So once it's in, you inflate the balloon and it inflates with air, and it basically makes a little seal on your butthole and it keeps the stool and water inside so that it can get up into your like lower bowel area.
But yeah, it's important that like before your body starts to evacuate, that like you retain the water and it like gets up in there to start your body's peristalsis and get things going, because we don't have control over our sphincter muscle and have any control over that in our that regard generally. If you're a quad, it's like a Foley cath. It just keeps the catheter in place while and I don't. I don't know if it hurts. I don't think you really feel much of anything. Um, but again, everyone's probably different in regards to what they feel. But it's not supposed to be discomforting, is it? Is it, Sean?
No, I mean, so I do get slight like I feel the pressure building. Like it's like a mild AD building and I can feel it. And while I'm pumping the water, I stay very relaxed. Like I sit there and do like deep breathing. I don't talk. Like I don't like I'm basically just trying to stay extremely still and like because I don't want to have any extra pressure like if I'm like talking or like move all excitedly and like something spasms moves, like I don't want to force that thing out or just force anything out. So it's like but it's not like it doesn't hurt. It doesn't give me like crazy AD. But it does give you some mild AD when it's like while the water is going in. But literally, like it comes back out within minutes and sometimes seconds, like when you pull it out. So, uh,
And again, this is like Sean's body and Sean's situation. The AD and the mild discomfort, if any discomfort, like, it's going to be different for everyone, depending on your body, depending on your level of sensation, like what you can feel and experience and stuff. I do know people that use the Peristeen that don't have any discomfort and they don't experience any form of AD when they're getting it administered. Um,
but I also have AD just from like digital stimulation or putting the catheter in. Like I do have that little bit of whatever. So like I'm probably on that same Asia scale you are, Tom. Like I just have to actually get that done, like by a licensed medical professional. But like
well,
yeah, I have that
it's
sensation, AD-ish sensation.
it's really important to talk about this and understand and recognize why it becomes maybe difficult to manage our bowels as we get older and stuff. I don't know. My body certainly got more sensitive. I think that's what ended up happening to Shawn is his bowel program got really difficult to do because our bodies were so sensitive. It was causing extreme discomfort, extreme AD. It was like a whole ordeal every time. And by the time we got out of it, like we'd be exhausted and in pain, and our body would need some recovery time and stuff. And the reason is because there's a lot of nerves in that area. There's one particular nerve. It's called a vagal nerve. I think it's VAGEL or something. And it communicates to our brain and to the rest of our body through our autonomic nervous system. And it can be very triggered from a bowel program. If you use something like a suppository or a mini enema, any kind of glucosilate based like um, bowel care program, that's actually an irritant and irritating your bowels. And for it didn't used to bother me like when I was younger, but certainly as I got older and my body changed and I got maybe more nerve sensation or maybe more aware of certain things. I don't really know how the whole nerves changing throughout the lifetime of our injury happens, but my body got a whole lot more sensitive to that discomfort. And even just what Shawn said, like just doing like digital stimulation would sometimes be enough to like trigger me or like, make my body respond in a very severe way, mostly meaning AD, but also sometimes muscle spasticity and other things. But the suppository or like a mini enema, like an enemies, it's like using like the chemical irritant
Yeah.
to instigate your bowel program. Those are huge triggers for me. They can cause me AD. They cause me to sweat. They cause like major, major, major nervous system reaction, and I try to avoid that the best I can these days because it's just too hard. It's just too much. I don't use the Peristeen. I just use an enema,
Like the
like a fleet enema. Um, my yeah, my body doesn't have an issue retaining it for at least like a couple minutes while it's doing its thing. Like, and again, I don't know if that's unique for me. If like the muscle that's there is just still really intact and like really healthy, really good. But generally, I'd say like 50, 1 out of 50 times, like my body won't retain the enema and the water will come out really quickly. And that's usually because like I'm like ready to go like right that minute and like my body's just ready to go, or um, I'm just having some kind of stomach issue or something. But the majority of the time, the regular fleet enema works for me. I'm able to retain it for a few minutes until it starts to do its thing. I just sit down on the toilet like normal, and my body does its thing. Being in a sitting position is important for me. I know some people do their bowel programs laying down in bed and stuff. When I'm laying down, things just don't move the same. Um, Being kind of in an upright position so that gravity and like my body and everything can help things move along, it's really important for me and something to also consider if you're doing it laying down. If you're trouble evacuating, if you're evacuating several hours after your bowel program, that can certainly be one of the things to change. It's not an easy thing to do to get into a shower chair and get under over a commode to do all that. I'm sure Shawn can attest, and I have to use a Hoyer lift to get into my commode chair and stuff, and it's a process, and it's not easy, but it's meaningful, and it's what makes my body feel comfortable, and it's what allows me to evacuate effectively, consistently. So it's a really important part of my routine.
Yeah, I
Uh,
actually have the same kind of thing. Like I have had trouble trying to do it in bed in the laying position. It's my body doesn't seem to respond as well, like doesn't evacuate as well, it seems.
Well, it's because gravity actually does help. Like our body's natural peristalsis, like is partly to do with like gravity and things kind of being pulled downward. So, um, again, just something to consider, be mindful of. Everyone's situation is so different, and not everyone even has the opportunity to get up into a shower chair, get over a toilet, and
Yeah.
stuff. Again, like sometimes you got to work within your parameters and within your situation. These are all just things that I've found over the last 20 something years that are maybe little things that people overlook or don't think about that can seem to make a huge difference for me. One is just sitting up. Um, I used to do, like I said, I used to do the suppository. I used to do these things called mini enemies, which is just like it's called glucosilate solution, and it's again like the same thing as a suppository. It's just in a liquid form. Um, those worked for me for a number of years, but my body changed a lot during puberty and during growing up and growing into adulthood. And that used to work for a number of years, but since I've been an adult, the only thing that I found to work consistently is an enema and water. is not an irritant, and it's really easy on your system. And I found that that's the best route.
So I was gonna
Um,
actually ask you, do you use, because I just even learned this last like year or so ago, do you use the gelatin-based enema or the say or the glycerin, sorry, glycerin-based glycerin gelatin, yeah, the or the regular the basic one that's just the basically like a isn't it like a saline
it's
almost solution?
it's just saline water. It's
Yeah,
just
saline
saline.
water, right? Yeah. Do
It's
you use
just
just that
saline
one?
water. It's just a regular fleet that you buy at Rite Aid or CVS or something, and it's like 6 ounces of saline water, and yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
it.
those are the ones I had bought and tried. But when I went to order them another time, I didn't realize that they also, and then Leah kind of explained the differences. But yeah, they make glycerin ones, Fleet does also, which is like a little bit, I don't know if that's an irritant or if it's something else that just helps draw the stool down. But yeah, I was just curious because I had never actually asked you like which of the Fleet enemas you were using.
Yeah, no, just saline, and I've seen the other ones. I think they have like other solutions too. Maybe for different purposes. Again, for me, I'm trying to do whatever is easiest on my body, and I found like just simple like water, saline is the best for not irritating my body and for having a complete and like good evacuation. Um, and I mean, I've struggled. I've struggled years for years and years and years, and tried lots and lots of different things. And some with success. Even like the fleet system I use right now, it's certainly not perfect. Um, I have had instances where I'll do my bowel care and I'll still have accidents, like 6 or 7 hours later because not everything evacuated or, whatever it is. Sorry, I think they just started doing construction work outside my apartment.
I hear,
Like
yeah.
until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is
Uh,
insane. But yeah, no, I've just found any kind of irritant, any kind of bowel irritant, it's just really hard on me. So yes, glycerin is the same for me. So yeah, just like water, same.
okay. Yeah, I was just curious of that. And I also wanted to just, from the chat, both Leon and Mike mentioned that when they're really backed up, their super pubic doesn't drain. And I just had that happening I thought I had a UTI a few weeks ago. Like I went in, took a urine sample in, I was pissing all over myself. Like literally, like I was peeing before my catheter change. I did the catheter change. I thought that would help. And I just kept leaking and peeing for like a few more days, and just couldn't really figure it out. Um, and I honestly think it was because it stopped after like a couple days later. I did a good bowel care, had a good evacuation, I guess, because I guess I skipped the day in between, and um, yeah, so that actually I guess really does put that pressure on it. I have also experienced that recently, and uh, yeah, now I understand
It,
the issue.
well, it's all in the same place, our bladder and like all the mechanism that makes that work is right next to your you know intestines and your colon and all that business. And yeah, when there's a lot of stuff that's backed up and your tissue in your body are actually like in different shapes and things are pushed around in a different way than versus like if you're empty or evacuated, it can certainly have an effect. And like I said, sometimes like the combination of factors too can like really make your body really sensitive and really crazy. Frequency is a good question, Jay. How often do you do yours, Shawn?
So for me, I for a lot of years I did Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's what I learned from rugby, and I would skip the 2 days. That was hard on my stomach and bowels. And then I switched like 10 years into my injury. I switched to every other day, doing just. But the problem with that was my schedule was never consistent. So now I do. I switched it a couple times, but I do 4 days a week. Right now I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I do every other day except for a back to back on the Monday, Tuesday, which gives me once a week. I do like a good clear out like the 2 days in a row, and then it keeps my days consistent every week. So it's not switching like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and it's just like a whole pain in the ass. So yeah, that's what I do now, 4 days a week, and it's been working for me. And then I adjust. Like this week, I adjusted a little bit. I didn't do it yesterday. I did it today because I'm going skiing tomorrow in Big Bear. Or no, sorry, I didn't. I'm all fucked. I didn't do it today. I did it. I'm doing it tomorrow because I'm going skiing Thursday. So I had to skip the Thursday. So I switched to like Friday, Saturday. So like I just try to do the 4 a week basically. So
It's different for everyone. Angry Quad just said it every day for me. Dot dot dot. If I've known several individuals that's what they have to do to remain consistent, an everyday thing. Again, sometimes this can change throughout our lifetime. Like our body goes through a lot of changes, over the decades, and while that might be the case for some, it might not be the case forever. Where you have to maintain that frequency. It also might change in the other direction. Whereas if you are every other day or every couple days, you might have to increase the frequency if you're having regular issues, and that's a part of it. I'd say on average 3 to 4 days a week is really healthy and good, and like that's kind of the normal, like about every other day. And the nuance, what you have to do for your own individual self, you have to figure it out, and it's a lot of trial and error, and it's seeing how things go for a couple weeks, and it's tough. It's really difficult to navigate this trial and error when you're shitting your pants, or like going and doing a bowel program and not evacuating anything because you're doing it so frequently your body doesn't need to and stuff like, and it's frustrating on both sides of the coin. But it's the process in which we all must go through in order to figure out what routine works best for us. And unfortunately, there is no way to know beforehand what's going to work for you. There's no medical professional or nurse practitioner or anybody that can tell you right off the bat a bowel program that's going to work for you perfectly. You're going to have to figure it out and go through that trial and error. I really recommend just like having and tracking a food diary if you are really struggling with your bowels. Just keep notes of like your bowel movements, how frequent they're happening, any accidents that might happen, and also like the quality of the bowel movements. If you're doing your bowel care, only a little bit's coming out, and you're having an accident, several hours later, or even like 12 hours later or something, you need to like be aware of that fact, and note and understand like, oh, I only went, my body only evacuated a little bit earlier. Like maybe I should have waited until the evening to do my bowel program so that my body was in a better place to like, evacuate and stuff. Again, it's different and nuanced for everyone, but writing these things down and taking notes can be kind of embarrassing, even if nobody's looking at them, and just writing about this stuff and tracking it yourself. But I cannot tell you how important it is and how much a benefit it can be to tracking your progress and making meaningful, positive changes rather than backtracking and doing things that you did before. You know, does that make sense?
yeah, no, that is, dude, and that's what Angry Quad said it in there too. You have to. Everybody has to figure it out for ourselves. Like, you're just gonna have to try. But that's the thing is, I don't know if you just mentioned this or not. Sorry, but do try make sure if you are switching things and changing things, do one thing at a time. Don't ever change multiple things at once. Like if that's
Exactly.
diet or how you're doing it or whatever it might be, that way you can track and know what made the change, like if that was what significantly changed it or if it was not, so that's just some tips. Like Tom said, keep like track of it, keep, if you can, like I was talking about doing a food kind of diary. I'm also am trying to track my both bowel and bladder health. Like I am now keeping notes on my catheter changes and like how they feel and like AD. Also trying to track like if I'm not having like if bowel care is harder, some days or not. Like I probably should have done stuff like that when I was younger, but I didn't and just kind of like got away with whatever. But now I do recognize my body's getting older. I've, you know, coming up on my half life thing. I'll be 21 years in the chair in a couple weeks here. Like, um, I need to start taking responsibility for my body and health. And
And it's nothing to like even get down on yourself about for not necessarily doing it, earlier. Like you didn't need to when you were younger. You had the, fortune of like youth on your side, but also this stuff is a learning curve, like you just don't know at the start. Like you don't know anything. And I mean you're absorbing and trying to learn as much as you can and navigate it all, but it takes time because it's such a huge learning curve. And very often we can not tackle all of these things all at the same time, meaning, we figure out our bladder situation, we figure out our bowel situation, we figure out our skin situation, we figure out our diet situation, but we don't do them all at the same time because it's next to impossible to. But the way that we do make meaningful progress is by keeping track, paying attention to things. These notes, even if they're not super valuable for you, they can be incredibly valuable for a medical professional too that you consult with. Can't tell you how many times I've ended up at a doctor's and forgot what I needed to talk about, or didn't reference information that was vitally important to the reason I was visiting the doctor. And having these notes and stuff just makes it so that doesn't happen. And it can just so easily happen to everybody. I hear everybody talk about that experience, but just going in with a piece of paper with just some notes, or just like your medical notebook where you just have all your notes and stuff in it, makes a big, big, big difference for me.
yeah, no, it really can. And that's what I kind of wish I had been a little better with kind of tracking some of that stuff early on. But better late than never. I feel like at least I can start somewhere and yeah, keep on it. But Ken had mentioned in the chat too that he a couple months ago, just after how many, I don't remember how many years you've been in the chair, Ken, but after I think like 30 plus something years, he got a colostomy, kind of like Bobby later in his injury, and he says that's been a great change in his life. It's him and his caregiver a lot happier. And then we also got a question about supplements, or if we take anything, supplements or like the Senecot, laxative, fiber, any of that kind of stuff. Um, for me personally, the Senecot, I have never, I know people that have taken that. I have never messed with that. And I've never done straight laxatives either, really. I've done like stool softeners. Um, I've done a lot of fiber supplements and stuff, but now I've just been trying to have a higher fiber diet, just getting more natural fiber and eating just a little better without supplements has been what I've been trying recently. But Tom, do you do any of that stuff or any?
I'd say be careful with Senecot, only because I have some personal experience with it, and um, it made me cramp. It made me like it ended up making me go a lot. But it took like 48 hours, and like at that point, like my body was very uncomfortable, and I don't know. It wasn't a good experience. That could just be a one-off thing that I experienced, but um, I haven't ever tried it again since. So I'd say just tread carefully with the Senecot. The things that I have taken in the past are Miralax, which is magnesium based laxative that
Uh,
is like a powder that you just dissolve in your drink. I used to do this before, like the evening before my bowel program, and it would just, the idea was it would like soften my stool and make my motility better when I went to evacuate in the morning. I ended up stop using that because I felt like sometimes it would like soften it too much to where it's like I would feel like the enema wouldn't be as effective, and then several hours later I'd have like an accident or something and just be like a huge mess and really difficult to clean and manage. Um, I have taken lots of fiber supplements. There's different kinds of fiber you can take. There's Metamucil, but the fiber that I've taken is the brand I've generally stuck to is Benefiber, which is again like it's a powdered fiber, but it's wheat dextrin fiber. That's the specific type of fiber supplement that it is. It's called wheat dextrin, and I would take it to kind of do the opposite of the Miralax, which is to like bulk me up enough to like where I wouldn't have like diarrhea or a lot of loose stool consistently. I still do fiber sometimes. I don't do any of that consistently because I don't feel like it is beneficial to me or is a meaningful impact. If I do fiber, I try to eat natural plant fiber and natural fruit fiber. So like, eat some fruits and eat some vegetables, people. There's no better way to get fiber than to just eat the stuff, eat the rugged stuff. Um,
Yeah.
do that, do that consistently. Do that over, as a regular, normal part of your diet,
And
and your body processes that so much better, so much easier. It can really help make a meaningful impact on your bowel program. Drink a ton of water and eat plenty of natural fiber. But if you can't eat all that natural plant fiber, that's where fiber supplements, I think, can be really great to step in and help carry some of that. Um,
And I just wanted to mention, you also mentioned, because fiber does bulk up your stool. So make sure that you are drinking enough water because if you just overdo the fiber and don't do water, then you'll end up constipated because you'll have too bulky of stool. So you got to really know and try to like learn some of those things and what different supplements and things will do to your bowels. So,
Absolutely, this is like a tricky balancing act. You need a whole lot of different factors to have a good system, and also you want to satisfy your palate too. Like you want to be eating good, yummy food, right? Um, and especially as a quadriplegic, depending on your independent situation and food preparation situation and stuff, it can just be a really tricky balance to maintain. But shop smart, eat smart, drink a lot of water. Best advice I can give anybody dealing
those are,
with bowel
yeah,
stuff.
no, those
Yeah.
are good tips for sure. I feel Ben says he drinks a lot of orange juice with high pulp and V8 juice called Deliciously Green. Kind of that's his oh, and a dual digestive drink, I guess.
Mr. Dipped In.
Yeah,
Love you,
what's up,
man.
Ben? Yeah, good to see you.
And the water is huge. The water is huge. As someone who's been chronically dehydrated for the last 2 decades, I can really, really speak to how important water is. It sucks to have to cath every hour and a half or 2 hours, regardless of the situation you're in or where you're at. But it is incredibly important to drink consistently throughout the day. It just makes you feel better. And it has, again, probably the most significant effect on my digestion and my bowel care than almost anything else I do, which is just drinking a lot of water. Also, I really recommend probiotics. One of the things that we often do and get stuck doing as someone with SEI is taking antibiotics semi regularly for bladder infections and UTIs and stuff. And antibiotics can wipe out the bacteria in your body. And that's a good thing if it's in your bladder, but there's a lot of healthy bacteria that's in your gut that helps your body actually break down and digest food in a natural and healthy way. If you are blasting your system with antibiotics or have at any point in the last year, it's really important to take some regular probiotics consistently and regularly to help your gut biome, which is like the living bacteria inside your gut, to be working for you and not against you. Because if it's working against you, you're going to have loose stool, you're going to have accidents regularly, it's going to be gassy, you're going to be bloated, it's not going to be good. But a good gut biome is what helps cut down on all of that and helps keep your stool like a good quality for healthy bowel care.
Yeah. Real quick, Roy says he's got to go. Take it easy, Roy. I saw earlier. Sorry, I was going to mention you had broken your leg. It looks like above your knee. Heal up, man. Hope you feel better. And yeah, man. Have a good night. Thanks for coming by. But yeah, dude. All that stuff is so important in trying to manage your bowels and maintaining healthy lifestyle as well, so that you're not having accidents or constipated or feeling bloated and crappy and all that stuff. So, and the probiotics are definitely such a big part of keeping your natural gut health and all these things are contributing factors. So make sure if you're not doing any of them, try to at least like learn, figure out what you can do to help.
Don't drink too much coffee.
As he takes a big sip of coffee. Coffee for me, I actually have been kind of wanting like coffee smells so good to me and it does taste good sometimes. Like I do like it. But man, the last time I had like a cup of coffee, I had an accident. I shit my pants. So, and it was like a decade ago. It was a long time ago. And I've had like little bits of coffee since without issue, but like I still fear drinking like to drink that whole cup of coffee you got there. I would be like, all right, we're staying home. I'm not trying.
Well, so this is it's like an iced Americano, and it's actually like only a quarter full of coffee, and the rest is water and ice. And so it's not too much coffee. It's mostly water, so I'm getting the coffee like taste, and I'm getting satisfied, like a little bit of caffeine. I've been drinking these like I'll do my 1 cup in the morning. If I do 1 cup in the morning, I won't have an afternoon coffee. I didn't have coffee this morning, so I had to go to get some groceries and stopped at Starbucks to get coffee. And this will be fine. I did my bowel care this morning, and I'll be okay. Like it won't trigger me. But it's funny because sometimes I'll wake up and like before I do my bowel care, like an hour before, I'll drink some coffee to because it can help your body. It can help your body move things. And again, knowing how your body reacts to certain things. I've had coffee, I'm drinking like a nitro cold brew, and an hour later, like I had the worst accident. And it's like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? But I drink, I do drink a cup of coffee every day, and I it doesn't cause me to have an accident. I do it on days I don't do my bowel care. I do it on days I do my bowel care, and I have no issue one way or the other with coffee triggering me. But I'm also not drinking more than 10 ounces of it. Some people drink, if you drink a venti, if you drink like a French press, which is like a really strong brewed coffee, so you're getting a lot of the stuff from the coffee, the caffeine, the tannins, like all the other stuff that like makes coffee, and you're getting that in a lot higher dose, then that can certainly trigger you. But it's different for everyone, and I made that joke because I knew I was going to start this conversation because coffee is known as like a big bowel stimulant for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
I know a lot
Um,
of people do like a cup of coffee like before they get up and go to the bathroom, or that's like
yeah.
kind of it helps people get moving and going and stuff. And I
Coffee's not the only thing too. There's you like prune juice, and if you're constipated and struggling, that's got some natural things dissolved in that can stimulate your bowels and help you go. Um, Jay said it earlier. Alcohol causes constipation for him. Alcohol causes all kinds of problems for me when it comes to my bowels. I would make the argument that it'll cause a whole gamut of problems for anybody in regards to their bowels, and also inflammation in your body, and also bladder health, and also other things too. I love to drink. I've been dealing with some bladder issues, so I've been off the sauce for a couple months now, and I I know that on times that I do drink, like let's say I go out to a bar, and I'll be sure to have care the next day because I know I'm going to need it. Because one way or the other, like my bowels are not going to be happy. This is where I say moderation is key. Don't nobody ever overdrink because it's poisoned, and the more poison you put in your body, the harder it's going to be for your body to function. Particularly your digestion and your bladder health and your urinary tract health. It makes my body super dehydrated, makes my bowels a mess, makes my bladder hurt. Um, I'd say that you still can drink. Just again, be very mindful of it. Don't do it every day. Don't do it every week, even. Every once in a while. And those times that you do it, just have a couple drinks, catch a buzz, cut yourself off, and drink about 40 ounces of water afterwards before you go to bed, and you'll be just fine.
all right, tips from Tom for
No, but seriously, like that's one of the biggest things I've had to learn. Like drinking is I can go out and drink, and I love to go out and drink with my friends, but I have to come home and drink water for a couple hours. And sometimes, like I used to go out and stay out late and then get home and just get into bed and not drink any water because I'd get home so late and I'd be tired. And but now I plan a lot better. Even if I'm out and I'm drinking, I'll stop at a certain point and just order some water and chug 12, 20 ounces of water, make myself pee a bunch, and then get home, drink a little bit more before I go to bed, and I'll generally be fine. Or a lot better in the morning versus like if I didn't have any. But it's just a really good point to bring up. A lot of people drink. A lot of people drink casually, socially, even just having a beer or something with dinner. Be considerate of how it might affect you, especially if you're not hydrating a lot afterwards, or especially if you're having a couple glasses of wine or something. Again, no judgment, no problem, no shame, but be considerate of the effect that it might have, or could certainly be having on your system.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know that's what I haven't had a drink in quite a while now. Been like almost probably 2 years or close to 2 years now. But yeah, now one of the reasons for sure was it's just so uh, much of a negative effect on my body, like my health, everything, my bladder especially though. So
I always say diminishing returns. Like after like two drinks, like I'm not having any more fun or getting any more buzz, but like I'm just suffering more consequences as a result of drinking more. So, like for me, it's just diminishing returns after a couple of drinks. And it took me getting into my 30s to learn that. But hey, we all we all are learning every day.
yeah, Chris made a joke. Drinking usually leads to talking shit too. Nice way to tie that in the topic. And yeah, that's true. And we're talking shit today, so yeah, man. If you guys have anything else you want to wrap up with, we're gonna wrap the show pretty soon here. I gotta go get some dinner and feed my belly so I can shit tomorrow morning.
I wanted to give a shout out to Nicole. Hello and happy 2025 to you. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi.
And
And
happy New Year to
Juan,
everybody.
Mr. Alisaris, Chris, everyone that stopped by, anybody that we missed in the chat, want to say thank you for stopping by. Just to give a little synopsis as to what we're talking about here, um, there's, I guess, like four main ways people manage their bowels: um, colostomy, bowel irrigation, um, suppositories or enemies, and regular enemas. Um, we've talked about a lot of these topics ad nauseum, meaning we've talked about them a lot in a lot of other episodes and at very significant length. I know we bounced around a little bit today, and Shawn and I maybe talked a little bit more about how we handle our specific program and our specific system that we use. But we have some really incredible conversations with Bobby and with some other amazing individuals that manage their bowels in different ways than we do. So if we covered something today or touched on something today that we didn't go into enough detail, I really encourage you to just go check out our other episodes. You can just type in Live to Roll Bowel Care, and I'm sure they'll all pop up in the search bar, or
Yeah.
bowel management, or just bowel.
I think I was gonna say
Um,
just type Val and search it, and it'll come up all the different. Because I think I have called it management or care and different things, but
the bowel irrigation thing is relatively new ish. It's been around for a while. People have done like larger volume enemas, I think, for a long time, but having like a system that's functional for a quadriplegic with the rectal catheter that stays in place and stuff. It's kind of a new thing, a newish thing that is catching on more because a lot of people are seeing and feeling and experiencing how much better it is on their body and how much more comfortable it is to do. They are a lot more accessible through insurance these days, meaning like just in the last couple of years, like last 2 or 3 years, they become a lot more accessible through insurance and something to maybe talk to your doctor about if you are struggling with your current program or if you're just looking to change things up for whatever reason. Um, and if none of what we talked about relates to you and something else works for you, more power to you. I always say the best thing for you is what works best for you. And that could be a lot of different stuff for a lot of different people. So as long as it's not hurting yourself, I always encourage you to be very transparent in the conversations you have with your primary care doctor and hopefully your disability doctor, your SCI doctor, your physiatrist, like that, whatever that may be. Very transparent about what you're doing to manage your bowels because they can one tell you if it's healthy, if it's safe, if it's effective long term. They can certainly make you aware of things that you might not be aware of, depending on what you're doing and how you're managing your system and stuff. Not saying anybody's doing anything wrong. It's just as a layman who's experiencing disability and like learning this stuff, we are not knowledgeable in regards to a lot of side effects and long term effects of certain things. And so it's just really important to talk to medical professionals very honestly and transparently about this stuff so you can make sure that whatever you're doing is healthy for you long term and you're not putting yourself in a tougher situation down the road or something like that. Just talk to your doctors, folks. It's really important. See them often and tell them about everything.
Yeah, no, exactly, man. And find specialists like even like the STI doctor, like maybe a GI doctor, which I'm actually even kind of I've been considering trying to find one myself, like a GI doctor to see why I have so much more pressure on like seemingly like a lot more just like AD from bowel stuff. If it's just normal the way I age, then I guess that's just I just have to figure out how to live with that, I guess. But if there's a change I can make, then trying to figure that stuff out. But yeah, that's great advice, man. Just seek your doctor, seek advice, seek any counsel you can. Watch the old video.
You live to roll. We're here.
Talk
Talk
us
to
a
other people with
message.
similar disabilities and similar situations and find out what they're doing. I mean, that's how I learned is talking to other quads and stuff. That's how Shawn and Bobby and I figured out all this stuff and even figured out the changes that we had to make later in our life was just by talking to one another and learning what works for us and positive changes that others have made that have worked for them. It can be an iffy, tough topic to talk about. It can be a little embarrassing. It's so easy getting on here and talking about it now because we've done it so many times and we can just get nitty gritty. Like I'm not really embarrassed by any of it anymore. But I can still feel embarrassment about it. I can still sometimes have a hard time talking about it to people and stuff. Like, so I just really encourage you to, especially with your doctors and your caregivers and people that really need to know and be in the know about this stuff, just talk about it, have a conversation, and your other disabled homies. We're all here to help figure it out.
Yeah, we certainly are. And real quick before we do wrap up, David in the chat brought up colitis actually before, and he said it will ruin you. And I think he does deal with that. And that's something that I don't know really anybody else in a chair that deals with that. And people that don't know, it's actually like small like holes, I believe, that form in your like rectum and your bowel area that like can cause major problems and catch things and little pockets and stuff that form. So we are actually going to do a show on that coming up soon. I got to reach out to David and get him on for something more like that. So still a little bit with the bowel related topic, but something a little different. That's if you end up having to deal with, I'm sure is not a pleasant thing to deal with. But yeah, just shouted that out real quick. And yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out, watching. Let's real quick shout out to the sponsors as we're getting towards the end here too.
You want to do it or you want me to do it? Let me do it. I haven't done it in a couple
All right,
weeks.
yeah, go for it.
Shout out Mobility Professionals, the premier DME company here in Southern California. Help you out with your wheelchairs, other durable medical equipment like standing frames, shower chairs, things that commodes that could help make your bowel care effective. I cannot tell you how important it is to have a good commode or shower chair to be comfortable during your bowel program. Um, it's really, really important. It was really important for me. And an amazing company like Mobility Professionals can help you navigate that and get the right equipment for you to help you out. in your daily life and managing your care as effectively as you possibly can. So shout out mobility professionals and shout out their sister company, Urology Professionals. Anything and everything urological supply related, they can hook you up. They are national too. So anywhere in the US of A, if you find yourself struggling with your medical supplier, not getting catheters on time or not getting the right supplies, give urology professionals a shout. Reach out to them online, give them a call, and they can help you navigate getting you consistent, regular supplies on time that's supported by your insurance. And Tom, when are we going to see T Fizzle again? Shawn, I wish I could say tomorrow night, but Shawn's gonna be out of town. It sounds like tomorrow. So I'm gonna try to shoot for next week. I'm bouncing back, Leon. Just taking a beat and appreciate Shawn being so kind and
Yeah,
supportive while taking a beat. But I'm coming back. I skipped a beat and I'm getting back on beat, baby.
yeah, that's what we like. End of the year, everything gets a little bit hard for everybody. Like a lot of things going on. So we'll get gaming kind of rolling again. T Fizzle up here
I
this
want to do.
year.
I want to do
Big-
some quad talk. I want to do some cooking, and I really want to do some cooking for you guys. It's like the biggest thing I want to get to. And I'm workshopping that. I know I've been talking about it for a while, but I just want to be comfortable and in a place so I can do it consistently, regularly for you guys. So appreciate your patience while I'm getting there, and rest assured, there's going to be some T Fizzle content coming your
And
way.
Mike Quad Boy in the chat said that he's on PS5 right now gaming. If you want to game with
Let's
him,
go.
not on the stream, but you guys hang out. And I gotta honestly, I still gotta try to. I haven't really got to practice much with my cool KFK Designs gaming controller, so I gotta try to do some gaming, so I can maybe hop on one day with you guys.
I was gonna say shit. If you don't use it, I'm gonna jack it from you. We should. I want to make a video showing it though, showing it off. I think that'd be a good idea. But we'll talk. It sounds good, Mr. Lee. I'll see you on PlayStation Online.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. Oh, and real quick, also for this week, we also do have Bobby coming on. Actually, well, hopefully Bobby will be feeling up to it today. He was a little under the weather, but Bobby, Robert, and Luis. Maybe it'll just be Robert and Luis, and find a guest. But they'll be on for Thursday, rolling over the hill. So make sure to check out the old guys. Get some aging wisdom on Thursday, 3 to 4. Check it out every second and fourth Thursday, guys. And all right, everybody. Thanks everybody for watching, and appreciate you guys. Tune in next time, and we will notify you guys on the T Fizzle Gaming soon too. All right,
Love
let's
you
roll,
guys.
everybody.
Live to roll.